Hello everybody, my name's Verity, so I work at Travis Perkins. I've been with the business for about 5 years now. Initially started actually as a recruitment administrator supporting some of the apprenticeship stuff that we used to do, and have now kind of gone full circle and am owning some of the early careers and apprentice strategy within the business. In terms of what I wanted to run through with you today, so a bit about our business and a bit about the levy and what that means for us. I'll talk you through where we've come from with apprenticeships and where we're going to and what those changes look like. We've seen some real opportunities for growth within the business using apprenticeships and really using that to pipeline some of our talent. And then just a bit of advice on trying to make the most of your apprenticeship levies to meet your business needs, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and try and tackle some of those key challenges. So in terms of Travis Perkins itself, for those of you who aren't familiar, so we're the UK's leading supplier of building materials. The group itself is made up of 24 individual brands. We're quite a diverse group, but typically we sell anything that you need to build a house. So if you take a house and turn it upside down, if it falls out, we probably don't sell it. If it stays put, we probably do. One of the big challenges we have within the business, so we've been set up as a kind of divisional model to try and pair some of them like-for-like businesses together and make it a bit easier to run. One of the challenges we have is they all think they're very different businesses and that they all want very different things. They don't, but they just like to be a little bit different. And within our heads, whenever we try and make anything work within the business, we need to be very careful of our language and very careful of how we pitch it to each business to make sure they think they're unique and that they're getting a really kind of special product for them. In terms of the levy, so I know where to pitch this slide. Can I have a quick show of hands of those who are familiar with the apprenticeship levy and what it means? Okay, good. We've got loads of people who know what we're up to. So yeah, of course, we've got these levy payments that we need to make, and we're able to reclaim for apprenticeships that are a minimum of a 12-month programme that map to a government standard, that include at least 20% formal training and provide training in a significant new skill set for that particular individual. For Travis Perkins, our levy payments amount to about £3.5 million per year. So a really lovely pot of money that our apprenticeships team got really, really excited about to start developing some of the things that we're already doing. One other thing that we're very excited about is with these apprenticeship reforms, we have that introduction of the endpoint assessment. So now our apprentices are marked with either a pass, a merit, or a distinction, which is going to make it really easy for us to be able to pull out where that top talent is and who those people are that we need to keep an eye on. In terms of Travis Perkins' journey with apprenticeships, so it's something that we've done for a very long time. So our CEO of the business actually started out in Travis Perkins at the age of 17 as what was then a management trainee, which is kind of what our management apprenticeship scheme is now based on. So having people so senior in the business that are so behind these programs and what they can achieve really kind of helps our cause and makes it nice and easy. So we're in a really, really fortunate position. Travis Perkins' heritage itself, so it goes back over 200 years to a really small family-run merchant, and we've really kept that kind of family value and that culture that means we like to look after our colleagues, really develop them and allow them to see that longevity in their career with us. One of the things that we were doing with our previous apprenticeships was we were really just focusing in that external pipeline into entry-level roles. So typically we take somewhere between 60 to 120 apprentices each year, and they were either on a level 2 programme, which was a level 2 in retail, kind of targeted at our customer service level colleagues, or we were bringing them into a level 3 assistant manager programme, which we were targeting at our kind of assistant branch manager or assistant store manager vacancies. It worked really well, it really helped us pipeline, but there was a really big group of people that we were missing by just focusing on that really small area. What we're now looking to do is really make the most of apprenticeships and do as much as we possibly can. So our business deliver the apprenticeships themselves. They are an employer provider of apprenticeships. In old worlds, what we had a real challenge with was in order to get people funded through kind of the government incentives that were in place then, there was quite a stringent set of criteria, which particularly for our assistant manager apprenticeship made a lot of people excluded from any of that funding, either due to their age or due to other qualifications that they held. For us, that kind of meant that the apprenticeships team were putting forward a lot of money towards the training of those apprenticeships rather than relying on government funding. So we were doing as much as we could in that area. We just didn't really have the resource or the budget to do anything further. And obviously the apprenticeship levy has come into place, and all of a sudden we've got the biggest budget we've ever had in our lives, and so much opportunity of what we can do with that. So what we'll now be focusing on is also external pipeline into really difficult to recruit roles. So we recognise within our business some of our management level roles are quite challenging just because of the way our business operates and how we're quite different to retail or hospitality, in that our business is very much built on relationships. There's no set pricing model. It all gets quite complicated, so we need that knowledge to be built from within. We're also looking at improving identified skill sets for existing colleagues, so it's a really nice opportunity for us to start developing some of those people who've been in the business for a little while. And we're really going to start using them to serve the internal development pipeline. With all of these changes that are happening within our business, so we've always done apprenticeships. Our business are really familiar that we've always done apprenticeships. And where we're moving to is almost a new era of apprenticeships. And we wanted the business to be really aware that these changes are in place and what they mean. So what we've done is rebrand our apprenticeships into this new LEAP branding. So LEAP stands for Learn and Earn Apprenticeship Programmes. And we thought by putting all this new branding out and really talking about what we're doing, it will make the business really take notice about the changes and start thinking about these programmes, not just for development of their own colleagues, but development of themselves as well. We also had to have a real think about why we were doing what we were doing and making sure we're doing it for the right reasons and not just because there's a big pot of money there that can be spent on these kinds of programmes. So we went out, we did a lot of focus groups across the business with managers, with colleagues, to find out if they could have absolutely anything, what would that look like, and just make sure that apprenticeships were the right solution for it and that we weren't just forcing it on them. Luckily, they were all really, really on board with the idea. So we started thinking about what our kind of mission statement was with LEAP and what we really wanted to achieve. One thing we're very conscious of is that we've got loads of people in the business that have been on the past apprenticeship programmes, and we didn't want them to think that what they'd done was rubbish and LEAP is so much better. So our messaging is very much about improving on those achievements and increasing the quality and increasing the quantity. And there's a big part in there about being really proud to be able to do this. So as a big UK PLC, it's almost our duty to be able to develop the skill set needed by our industry. And through these LEAP programmes, that's a big part of our message, is that we really want to be kind of pioneering in that area. So in terms of what New World looks like, so these are the apprenticeships that have gone live so far. We've got more coming in the next 12 to 18 months. But essentially what you can see there is an entire colleague journey, right from entry level, kind of branch counter, customer service level role, right up to multi-site management or head of department. So we've got our level 2 apprenticeship, our level 3, level 5 and level 6 apprenticeships in management. All of those are also accredited by the Chartered Management Institute, so we have that really lovely extra attraction piece that we can go out to market with. And we also have launched this year a level 2 apprenticeship in warehousing. You'll see in the green boxes along the bottom, they're kind of the titles that we've given to our apprenticeships. So within this LEAP branding, we almost want the apprenticeship names to start meaning something in themselves and start becoming quite powerful. And we already see it a lot in our business, people using this language, which is really brilliant. So for the Managing a Team programme, for example, we see people going around saying they're a MAT apprentice, and it's really lovely to hear that echoing back and people realising the value of what they're doing in the programme that they're on. By introducing all of these programmes, what we're going to see happen is the kind of colleague journey within our business is really going to speed up. So that example colleague journey that you can see at the top shows someone coming in at a customer service level role and going right up to a branch manager or store manager level role. Within our business, without apprenticeships, just with normal internal development, that journey would take on average 10 years for somebody to move through. With our apprenticeships in place, we're looking to see that journey shortened down to 4 years. So you can start to see some of the real benefits that are going to come to us through these apprenticeship programmes and really start making a difference. We then also have the journey from branch manager to regional director. So our regional director level role is a regional role that will cover between 30 and 40 branches. That journey currently takes 12 years, and with the introduction of these new programmes, we're looking for that journey to be shortened to 7 years. This is really going to help us tackle some of the key challenges we have in our business around a bit of an ageing workforce. We have a lot of people who are struggling to develop their careers because they don't feel they're getting the right development, and it's taking them all that time. Whereas now, if we're looking at just a 7-year development route into the regional director level role, it's going to help us really attract and really retain some of the best talent that we've seen within the business. In terms of some of the benefits of the change that we've seen already by doing apprenticeships previously, so our last 4 cohorts of apprentices, we had around 400 colleagues join us. We don't have the figures for the 2015 cohort that finished last year because our apprenticeships team have been so manic with launching these new programmes. But the cohorts before that offset recruitment costs of around £300,000. So that's from apprentices rolling off their programme and going into assistant branch manager or branch manager level roles. We obviously have the huge monetary benefit of being able to maximise our levy payments. So if the figures the business have given us in terms of how many apprentices they want on programme throughout this year come to light, then by the end of the year we will be maximising those levy payments and being able to reclaim that full pot. One of the really great benefits for us, so because we have 2,000 branches across the UK and we're quite a low cost operating model business, we leave the recruitment within branches down to the branch manager. Some of them are brilliant at it, they know exactly what they're doing, they get out there and they find the best talent. Others kind of leave it to last minute and rely on word of mouth or someone that just walked in the branch that day that they think might be really good at the job. So what we tend to find is you look at different roles across the variety of branches and the skill level is really quite different. By having this constant pipeline of apprentices, we're going to know that all of those people moving into assistant branch manager positions are going to be trained up to our standards that we've taught them on the apprenticeship programme. So we'll know that whichever branch we go into, all of those assistant branch managers are going to be working off the same sort of rule book. They're all going to be trained up to where we need them to be, and they're all going to know how to do a really great job. A really good benefit we've seen within our apprenticeships programme is much more diversity. So within our industry as a whole, diversity is a real challenge. Gender diversity specifically. So I don't know if many of you go into builders merchants, but you'll probably find when you go into them, you're very rarely served by a woman behind the counter. A big challenge that we have with that is a lot of our branch managers tend to think that people coming in and working in the branch need to know what they're talking about. They need to know the products and they need to know the customers, which obviously means that they're then fishing in the same pool of people. They're looking inside the industry and there's no diversity within the industry, so there's a real challenge. And as much as we try and teach them that they should look outside of their industry and start training people, they feel like they don't have the time, they feel like it's not going to be the best option for them. What we find with our apprenticeships is they're obviously much more open to bringing in people who have no previous knowledge of the industry or of the business. Looking at our assistant branch manager population, so that's what our kind of biggest apprenticeship programme is to train up to. Across the business, assistant branch managers are around 16% female, so a really, really poor score there. Looking at our apprenticeship intakes onto the level 3 programme that trains them to be an assistant branch manager over the last few years, the average is around 33%. With the last cohort we had almost at 40%, so we're seeing huge improvements there, and if we continue doing what we're doing, we're confident that's going to have a really positive impact on the business as a whole and increasing some of that diversity. It is also bringing in that knowledge outside of industry as well, so bringing people from completely unrelated places that can bring some of their learning to our business and really support us. By having these apprenticeship programmes as well, so we've moved to a quarterly intake, so every 3 months we have a cohort of apprentices rolling off programme looking for permanent roles within the business. So our time to hire at the moment for assistant branch manager vacancies within the business is 15 weeks, so that's not counting any notice periods. Really quite a long time to be having those positions vacant. With the apprenticeship programmes, we're obviously going to have that constant pipeline every 3 months of people that can move straight into those roles and have all of the skills that we need to just kind of pick up the keys and get going. And as we saw on that previous slide, that colleague journey time is rapidly reduced. We are able to really kind of pin out with people, if we have those PDRs with them and they tell us where they want to develop their career, we can show them how they can get there and make it really, really achievable for them. So that's really going to help us attract and retain some of the best talent. And as mentioned earlier, as a PLC, we have a really key role to play in making sure the skills shortage is kind of eradicated. So making sure that we kind of future-proof our business and future-proof our industry as well. And that's all from me. Were there any questions at all?
Thank you very much, Verity.
No worries.